It's already over, and nobody told you. The man you've been arguing about for 2 years on the internet? He didn't win. He didn't lose. He flipped the table while you were watching the wrong hand, and the receipt just dropped. Okay, you guys, sit down. Lock the door. Because what just leaked out of the back rooms of UMG is the kind of thing that turns stand-ums into crime scenes. The Iceman wasn't melting. The Iceman was negotiating. And by the time you finish this video, you're going to feel something very rare in 2026. You're going to feel played. Now let me get into the mess nobody else seems to be catching, because this one deserves a real deep dive. And to be fair, I'm not here to throw a wild accusation and walk off. I'm here with receipts. I'm here with the playbook. I'm here with the quotes. Pull up a chair, baby. We're cooking tonight. For the last 2 years, Drake has been selling you one story, just one. He wanted you to believe he was the lonely soldier kicked out of the kingdom, blackballed, betrayed, hunted, broken spirit, locked out of the very system he helped build. He gave it to you in lyrics. He gave it to you in lawsuits. He gave it to you in those moody little Iceman teaser videos with the Pinocchio nose and the rats running across the floor. He told you it's me against the machine. And child, half the internet bought it like a Black Friday handbag. But here's the part they prayed you'd never notice. The machine he was supposedly fighting was signing his next paycheck the entire time. I'll say that again so it sits. The label he sued, the label he dissed, the label he turned into the villain of his comeback arc was never his enemy. They were his sparring partner. The whole brawl was choreographed, and the bell at the end of round 12 wasn't a knockout, it was a contract extension. You don't have to take my word for it, take his own camp's word for it. Akademiks, the same guy who's basically the in-house Drake whisperer, said it on stream, on camera, in front of everybody. We're gonna hear that Drake signs a high 9-figure or a 10-figure deal. All their issues are gonna resolve amicably. They're gonna put out a statement saying Drake is a really good artist, a valuable asset, quote, end quote. That's not a fan theory. That's not me reading tea leaves. That's a man who eats dinner inside the kitchen telling you what the chef is cooking. And what is the chef cooking? The same plate he's been serving since 2010, just with a new label sticker on the side. Now pause, because if that's true, and every signal screams it is, then we have to go back and rewatch the last 2 years with new eyes. The lawsuits weren't a rebellion, they were leverage. The I'm independent talk wasn't a plan, it was a pose. The Drake versus the system narrative wasn't a movement, it was a marketing campaign with very expensive set design. And the saddest part? You paid for it. You streamed the soundtrack. You fought your cousin in the group chat over it, and he cashed the check. Let me ask you something, and answer honestly. When was the last time you saw a real industry outcast still get radio, still get Spotify front page real estate, still get brand deals printing his face on cans, on jerseys, on streetwear collabs, still get Billboard treating every Tuesday like Christmas? Outcasts don't get that. Hostages don't get that. Blackballed artists don't get that. Michael Jackson didn't get that during his Sony war. Prince literally had to write the word slave on his face to be heard. Kanye West couldn't get a sponsor to sell him a stick of gum. But Drake got 3 albums dropped in a single quarter and a victory lap on every algorithm in the country. Does that look like a man fighting the machine or a man being polished by it? Now, let's clock the timeline, because this is where it starts to get embarrassing for everybody who fell for it. Step 1, lose the biggest rap beef of the century, publicly, brutally, the kind of loss that doesn't heal, it stains. Step 2, blame the loss on the system. Sue over a diss song. Try to bend free speech law sideways like it's an Allen Iverson crossover. Step 3, leak 1,000 sad boy snippets where you're the misunderstood genius nobody listens to. Step 4, drop a 43-song flood, Iceman, Maid of Honor, Habibti, and call the avalanche art. Step 5, let the bots, the radio ads, the Spotify boosts, and the strategically wounded ego carry you back to the negotiating table. Step 6, sign the new deal, smile for the press, pretend you outsmarted the chessboard you were never actually trying to flip. 6 steps. That's it. That's the whole magic trick. And the audience clapped. To be fair, and I have to be fair because that's how we do it on this channel, there were people screaming about this in real time. Glasses Malone was waving the red flag. Joe Budden kept saying he was only watching to see if Drake would actually pull the independence move. Pusha T moved on with his life. Even Kendrick Lamar, somewhere on a mountaintop in Compton, has not said one word. Because when your opponent is busy directing a one-man play, you don't interrupt Act 3. You sell popcorn. Now, and this is where it gets messy, let's talk about the casualty in all of this, because every con has a victim. And in this one, the victim isn't UMG, it isn't Kendrick, it isn't the rap game. It's you, the fan, the hater, the casual listener. Everybody who poured emotion into a fight that the two opponents were never really having. Think about it. Drake didn't go to war with the label, he went to war with your trust. He needed you angry, he needed you defensive, he needed you to feel like supporting his music was a political act, a loyalty test, a holy crusade. Because the music alone, let's be honest, was not moving the needle anymore. So he wrapped mediocre songs in a martyr's cape and dared you to take it off him. And a whole army of owls picked up the cape and ran with it like it was a championship belt. That is the trick. That is the entire trick. Manufactured underdog, real check. And here's the part that should make every grown man and woman watching this click their teeth. The bots didn't take a day off. Go look. Look at any post that questions Iceman. Look at the comment sections under reviewers who gave it a 6 out of 10. Look at the engagement on hate clips against A$AP Rocky's tour. There is too much heat, too fast, from too many accounts that all suddenly love hip-hop on the same Tuesday afternoon. You don't have to be a forensic analyst, you just have to have eyes. Somebody, somewhere with very deep pockets is paying for that noise. And it didn't start last week. It started the second the beef ended. Now, let me slow down because I see you in the comments getting hot. I'm not saying every Drake fan is a bot. I'm not saying you can't enjoy the music. I'm saying you deserve to enjoy it with the lights on. You deserve to know that the storyline you were sold, the independent warrior fighting the corrupt label, was a costume, a really expensive costume, and the man under it was just trying to renew his contract. And speaking of costumes, let's pivot, because while Drake was busy auditioning for the role of Rebel of the Year, somebody else decided to crash the play, and he did it in the loudest, most cinematic way possible. Enter A$AP Rocky. The man Drake reached so hard for on Iceman it nearly pulled a muscle. The man with the dream girl Drake will never stop side-eyeing on Instagram at 3 a.m. The man who, until last week, was content to let his music speak. Well, past tense. Because Rocky just opened his tour. And baby, the tour opened back. Let me paint it for you, because the visuals matter. Rocky walks out onto one of the most beautifully designed stages hip-hop has seen all year. We're talking helicopter entrance. Yes, a real one, flying into the arena like a Bond villain landing for brunch. We're talking set design that looks like a fashion film, lighting that makes Tyler the Creator's Chromacopia tour look at the door like, okay, I see you. It's grown man theater. It's pop art with a pulse. And right in the middle of all that, Rocky pulls his Drake diss, Stole Your Flow, out of his back pocket and performs it like it's a love song, smiling, comfortable, like a man who knows his opponent is at home refreshing the Spotify dashboard. But that's not even the part that broke the internet. The part that broke the internet was the outro, the very last sequence of the show. The lights go down, the screen fades up, and what does the audience see? Owls. Little tiny owls, the exact same kind of owls from Drake's own Nokia music video, caught in the crosshairs of a sniper scope. And rats running across the screen, the exact same imagery Drake himself was using during the Iceman rollout, twisted into a quiet surgical clapback. Rocky didn't say a name, he didn't have to. He just put Drake's whole branding deck into a sniper scope and pulled the trigger on the visual. That is not a rap diss, that is performance art with teeth. That is the kind of move that makes a man on a yacht somewhere check his phone twice. And then, like a final twist of the knife, Rihanna posted from inside the building, rocking out, smiling, praising the Lord like the song says. The same Rihanna that Drake spent a verse of Iceman accusing of not even supporting Rocky's music. Caught on camera,
supporting Rocky's music on the same night in the same arena where Drake's branding was getting executed in slow motion. That's not coincidence, that's industry. And we know what industry hands smell like by now. Hallelujah, praise God, pass the receipts. Let's keep going because I'm not done. Step into the bigger picture for a second, because this isn't just about one rapper running game on his fan base. This is about what happens to hip-hop when its biggest mainstream face decides that the goal isn't art, it's tenure. Drake isn't trying to be Jay-Z. Jay-Z built Roc Nation, signed acts, sold catalogs, walked into Live Nation rooms with leverage. Drake isn't trying to be Kanye. Kanye blew up his own label deal, swung at every door in the industry, took the hits, and still walked out independent. Drake isn't trying to be Kendrick. Kendrick built PG Lang, an actual creative company with film, fashion, and music under one roof. Drake isn't even trying to be Tyler. Tyler made a festival, a clothing line, and 3 of the best hip-hop tours of the decade. Drake just wants to be employed. That's it. That's the whole vision. And listen, there's nothing inherently wrong with being an employee. Millions of people clock in every day. But you cannot be an employee and a revolutionary at the same time. You cannot sue your boss on Monday and renegotiate your contract on Friday and call yourself a rebel by Sunday. That's not rebellion, that's HR. And the worst part, the fans who actually believed in the rebellion arc, the Rorys of the world, the people who genuinely thought Drake was about to crack the industry open and reveal a treasure chest of artist-friendly reforms, those fans are about to get the rug pulled the hardest because the announcement is coming. Maybe a week, maybe a month, but it's coming. A statement so glossy and so amicable, you'll be able to see your reflection in it. We value the relationship. We're excited for the foreseeable future. Drake is a generational artist. Sign here, smile there, cash the check, crank out the next mandated album by Q3, wash, rinse, auto-tune, repeat. And somewhere in the middle of all that, the bots will quietly log off, the smear campaigns will quietly cool down, the Iceman story will quietly get re-edited in the public memory like nothing happened. And in 2 years, when somebody on a podcast asks, wait, didn't Drake sue UMG? Half the audience won't even remember, because that's how this works. They don't need you to forgive the con, they just need you to forget it. Now, and this is the part I really want you to sit with. Let's talk about why this matters beyond Drake. Because if you let a billion-dollar artist sell a fake war and walk away with a real bag, you are telling every executive in every boardroom in this industry that the audience is dumb enough to buy anything. You're telling them, package mediocrity as a movement and we'll stream it. Package a contract dispute as a freedom fight and we'll defend it. Package a loss as a comeback and we'll throw confetti. That is the lesson UMG is taking home from this entire era. And every artist coming up behind Drake, the new generation watching this whole thing in real time, is learning the exact same lesson. Skip the work, sell the storyline, cash the check. That's not hip-hop. That's hostage-taking with a beat behind it. To be real with you, I think this is the moment a lot of fans finally wake up. Not because they want to, because the math stopped working. You can only watch a man cry about being blackballed while sitting on the front page of every streaming platform for so long. You can only hear "they're trying to silence me" from somebody whose face is on a Spotify billboard before your brain starts asking questions. And those questions, once they start, they don't stop. That's the danger zone for Drake. Not Kendrick, not Rocky, not Pusha T. The danger zone is the moment the audience starts thinking for itself. And listen, I know what some of you are about to type, but the numbers, but the streams, but he's still on top. Sweetheart, numbers in 2026 mean almost nothing. Numbers can be inflated, numbers can be bundled, numbers can be juiced by playlist placements you'll never see on a public dashboard. Numbers are a magic trick, not a measurement. The real measurement is cultural weight. And culturally, when's the last time a Drake bar entered the lexicon? When's the last time a Drake line got quoted in a barbershop without sarcasm? When's the last time a Drake hook outlived its album cycle? Be honest, I'll wait. I'll wait through the entire commercial break, because the silence in your head right now is the actual answer. Now, let me drop a little extra something on you, something I've been sitting on because I wanted to be sure before I said it out loud. Insiders close to the rollout are quietly whispering that the new Drake UMG deal isn't just a renewal, it's a rebrand.
There is supposedly a clause floating around that reframes OVO as a joint venture instead of a vanity imprint, which sounds fancy until you read what a joint venture actually obligates the artist to deliver in album per year quotas. That is not freedom. That is a leash with a logo on it. And the fact that nobody in mainstream rap media is talking about this part yet should tell you everything about which way the dollars are flowing in 2026. And one more wrinkle while we're already in it. Word is the lawsuit, the entire not like us free speech defamation circus that Drake's been dragging through the courts, was never really about winning. It was about creating ongoing legal posture to justify the label sticking by him while the smoke cleared. In legal speak, that's called narrative cover. In street speak, that's called doing the most for the appearance of doing something. Either way, it worked. The story stuck, the check is coming, and the judge is going to be the last person to find out it was theater all along. Now do you see why I had to break this one down piece by piece? Because the second you stack it all next to each other, the bots, the lawsuits, the album flood, the Akademiks tea, the Rocky Tour clapback, the Rihanna receipt, the smear campaigns, there's only one shape the puzzle makes. And it's not the shape of a man fighting the system. It's the shape of a man being escorted back into it through a side door, with the press release already typed up and waiting on someone's desktop. And let me hit you with one more layer, because I refuse to leave this dish half-cooked. People keep asking me, why now? Why drop 3 albums in 1 quarter? Why flood the market with 43 songs that nobody asked for? And the answer is so simple it's almost insulting. Quota. That's it. That is the entire answer. Major label contracts in the streaming era are built around delivery quotas. You owe the label X amount of product to fulfill your existing deal, and only after you fulfill it can you negotiate a new one with a higher floor. Iceman wasn't an album. Maid wasn't an album. Habibti wasn't an album. They were inventory. He was clearing the shelf. He was working off the debt. And the second the count hit 0, the new contract paperwork hit the lawyer's inbox. That is not artistry. That is accounting with an 808 underneath it. And I'll tell you something else nobody in the rap pundit world wants to admit on camera. Every single one of them knew. The podcast guys knew, the reaction channel guys knew, the blog guys knew. They just couldn't say it out loud because their access depended on not saying it. So they nodded, they debated, they reviewed every snippet like it was a Pulitzer submission. And the whole time, the man at the center of the rollout was running a clinic on how to manipulate an entire genre's media cycle. Respectfully, that's diabolical work. It's also the loneliest kind of win, because at the end of it, nobody remembers what you stood for. They just remember that you were always somehow on TV. So where does this leave us? It leaves us at a fork in the road. On one side, you can keep pretending. You can keep streaming the slop. You can keep defending the storyline. You can keep yelling at strangers on the internet on behalf of a man who is, at this exact moment, on a private jet, about to land in a meeting where he will sign a piece of paper that confirms everything I just told you. You can do that. The owls will welcome you back with cold tea and warm denial. Or, and hear me out, you can do the harder thing. You can admit you were sold a story. You can admit the story didn't add up. You can take that energy you were spending on stand-em and aim it at the real artists doing the real work, the ones who don't need a manufactured villain to make their music feel important, the ones whose albums don't need 3 sequels in a single quarter to fill a label quota, the ones who are actually fighting the system, quietly, expensively, without a press release. That's the choice. And it's not a clickbait choice, it's a real one. Because here's what nobody's saying out loud, and I will, because that's what we do here. The most dangerous thing in music right now isn't a diss track. It isn't a lawsuit. It isn't a beef. It's a fan base that mistakes consumption for loyalty and loyalty for identity. That's what Drake is exploiting. That's what UMG is exploiting. That's what the bots are exploiting. And the only person who can pull the plug on that whole machine is you. So pull it. Stop streaming out of obligation. Stop defending out of pride. Stop arguing out of habit. Start listening like a grown person who has options, because you do have options. There's an entire generation of artists out here making music that doesn't need a fake war to feel real. They don't need bots. They don't need smear campaigns. They don't need a fake independence arc to sell you a glorified contract renewal. They just need you to look. Now, before I let you go, let me leave you with one more thought, because every good story needs a final twist, and this one has a good one. While Drake is busy negotiating his amicable resolution with the label he supposedly hated,
while the bots are busy clipping A$AP Rocky's tour, while the owls are busy convincing themselves that Iceman is a classic. Somewhere, very quietly, Kendrick Lamar is still moving. He hasn't said a word, he hasn't dropped a sub, he hasn't responded to a single bot. He's just moving, working, building, watching. And the rappers who are getting brave enough to take subtle little jabs at him right now, Big Sean, Lupe, whoever else feels froggy this week, they should know one thing: he clocks everything. And when the response comes, it doesn't come as a tweet, it comes as an event. So yeah, Drake might sign his next deal. Drake might smile for the cameras. Drake might pretend the last 2 years were a master plan instead of a meltdown. But the man who actually won this era is sitting somewhere very quietly, watching the entire industry pretend it didn't see what it saw. And that is the real story of 2026. So let me know in the comments, did you catch the trick in real time, or are you just catching it now? Were you team rebellion or team renegotiation? Do you think UMG ever lost a single dollar of leverage in this whole circus, or were they directing it from the very first scene? And what do you think Kendrick is going to do when he finally decides to look up? Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't, share this with a friend who's still defending the Iceman rollout. They need it more than they know. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, child, you are not just a viewer, you are a witness. And witnesses don't forget. The Iceman didn't melt, he renegotiated. The war wasn't real, the receipt is. And the smartest thing you can do tonight is close the app, sit with it, and ask yourself one quiet question. Who else has been selling you a story you forgot to fact check? That's the tea, that's the truth, and that's how it ends. Not with a bang, not with a diss, but with a signature on a piece of paper nobody was supposed to see. We'll see what happens next, and baby, I'll be right here when it does, with the receipts already printed and the popcorn already warm. Stay sharp.